Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a journey through time and sound. It is now 2026, and the global music landscape has been completely redefined by a single name that echoes from the streets of Seoul to the glimmering stages of the Grammys, Stray Kids. We aren't just talking about a K-pop group anymore. We are witnessing a cultural phenomenon that has survived the test of time, military enlistments, and the ever-shifting tides of the industry. But as they stand at the pinnacle of their careers, have you ever stopped to wonder what truly makes these 8 titans tick? In an era where AI can mimic voices and holograms can dance, how do these 8 distinct souls maintain an identity that is so uniquely, unapologetically human? How has the passage of time since their 2017 debut transformed their brotherhood into a complex machinery of individual brilliance? Today, we are diving deep into the DNA of the Step Out legends. We're peeling back the layers of fame to explore the raw, emotional, and technical differences that set each member apart in 2026. Is it the way they command a room or the silent sacrifices they make behind the scenes? Who has evolved into the group's philosophical anchor, and who remains the untamed fire of their performance? What hidden scars have shaped their latest masterpieces, and which member has secretly become the architect of their new sonic era? Get ready, stay, because this isn't your typical profile. This is a deep dive documentary into the hearts of 8 kings. Are you ready to discover the secrets behind the synergy? Who do you think holds the crown for the most radical transformation over the last 9 years? Let's find out. 8. Lino, the precision engine and the silent philanthropist. Entering 2026, the man we once knew simply as the dancing gem has evolved into something far more complex and formidable. While Stray Kids' performances have reached a level of technological grandeur that defies belief, Lino remains the group's human gyroscope, the undeniable anchor of technical perfection. But the difference here isn't just in his razor-sharp choreography. It's in the profound, quiet maturity that now defines his soul. By April 2026, Minho has officially transcended the idol boundary, becoming a high-fashion icon as the global brand ambassador for Gucci, making waves at Milan Fashion Week with a film star aura that feels light years away from his backup dancer days. Yet, beneath the glitz of the runway, the biggest difference in 2026 is his heart. Lino has quietly become one of the industry's most dedicated philanthropists, being the youngest member of the World Vision Bob Pierce Honor Club, and recently donating hundreds of millions of won to children's medical centers and cat protection groups. While the world sees a fierce, untouchable performer who can execute a backflip with surgical precision, the reality of 2026 Lino is a man who uses his platform to protect the vulnerable. He is the bridge between the group's intense, no-easy stage persona and a deeply empathetic, grounded reality. His dancing has become silky, less about the raw power of youth and more about the deliberate, masterful control of a veteran artist who no longer needs to prove his worth. In every 2026 performance, you can see it the way he watches over the other members with a silent, protective gaze, ensuring the Stray Kids machinery never misses a beat while he remains the group's moral and technical backbone. 7. IN, the evolution of the maknae into the modern legend. Witnessing Yang Jeongin in 2026 is like watching a masterclass in metamorphosis, a breathtaking transition from the desert fox we adored into a powerhouse of vocal and visual dominance. The biggest difference that sets IN apart today isn't just the fact that he has grown into a towering figure of charisma, but his radical shift in musical identity. In 2026, IN has officially shed the youngest brother label to become the group's most versatile vocal weapon, blending his traditional trot-influenced soul with high-octane pop-rock textures that have left critics speechless. As the face of luxury brands like Alexander McQueen, he now carries a sophisticated, high-fashion edge that feels both dangerous and ethereal, a stark contrast to the shy boy who debuted with braces. But the real detail that defines IN in 2026 is his internal discipline. He has become the standard bearer of the group's work ethic. While the other members have their distinct artistic outbursts, IN is the one who arrives first and leaves last. having spent the last few years obsessively perfecting his craft to ensure he is never just the maknae, but a peerless contemporary artist. His 2026 solo projects have showcased a maturity that is deeply reflective, often tackling themes of growth, the loss of innocence, and the weight of being a global icon. When you see him on stage now, there is a certain ice-cool confidence in his eyes, a gaze that says he is no longer following the path, but carving it. He has mastered the art of the visual narrative, where every tilt of his head or change in vocal tone tells a story of a boy who survived the grueling idol system to emerge as a king in his own right. The emotional depth he brings to Stray Kids' 2026 discography is the secret ingredient that makes their new ballads hit harder than ever. He is the living proof that time doesn't just change us, it refines us into something diamond-hard and infinitely more brilliant. How does it feel to see the baby of the family become the one the others now look to for strength? 6. Han, the solitary poet and the infinite sonic architect. In 2026, Han Ji-sung has moved beyond the title of all-rounder to become something far more enigmatic, a modern-day musical hermit whose mind operates on a frequency most people can't even hear. The most striking difference in Han today is his transition from the energetic, high-tension kwaka of the early years into a deeply reflective, introverted visionary who speaks loudest through his lyrics. While the world of 2026 is obsessed with fast AI-generated hooks, Han has gone in the opposite direction, doubling down on raw, unfiltered human emotion. He has become the emotional core of Stray Kids production, often retreating into his own private world to write songs that explore the complexities of isolation, the price of fame, and the terrifying beauty of the future. The Han of 2026 is a man who has mastered the silence. He no longer feels the need to fill every gap with a joke or a freestyle. Instead, he commands attention through a newfound stage gravity that is heavy and intense. His solo work has taken a turn toward alternative rock and soul-crushing ballads, proving that he is just as comfortable with a guitar in a dim room as he is rapping at 100 miles per hour on a stadium stage. There is a specific fact about Han in 2026 that sets him apart. His songwriting credits have reached legendary status within the industry, yet he remains the member most likely to be found alone in a cafe, watching the rain and scribbling in a notebook. He is the bridge between the group's explosive public image and their private, vulnerable interior. In the 2026 World Tour, his solo stages are no longer just performances. They are atmospheric experiences that feel like a peek into a diary he's finally ready to share. He is the member who reminds everyone that even in a group of 8, the individual soul must remain untamed. Have you ever felt the weight of 1,000 words held back by a single look? That is Han Ji-sung in 2026, a silent storm that only breaks when the music starts, leaving the audience in a state of collective catharsis. He is the genius who found peace in the chaos, and that inner peace is what makes his 2026 presence so hauntingly beautiful. 5. Seungmin, the vocal perfectionist and the master of modern melancholy. As we navigate through 2026, the transformation of Kim Seungmin is perhaps the most silent but deadly evolution in the history of the group. While he was always known as the dandy boy, the Seungmin of today has shed that polite exterior to reveal a powerhouse of emotional intelligence and vocal mastery that borders on the superhuman. The fundamental difference that separates Seungmin from the rest in 2026 is his absolute obsession with the art of the ballad in an era dominated by noise. He has become the group's vocal architect, the one who painstakingly deconstructs every harmony to ensure that even their most aggressive tracks have a soul. In 2026, Seungmin's voice has matured into a rich, mahogany-toned instrument, deeper, more resonant, and capable of conveying a level of heartbreak that feels decades beyond his years. He is no longer just the singer, he is the storyteller. A fascinating detail about Seungmin this year is his emergence as a prominent figure in the OST world, having voiced the themes for the biggest global K-dramas, earning him the nickname the Prince of Soundtracks by international critics. But physically, the change is just as jarring. He carries himself with a new, authoritative, main character energy, often appearing in high-fashion editorials with a sharp, cold beauty aesthetic that has fans doing a double take. Yet, despite this newfound visual sharpness, his heart remains the most consistent. He is the member who keeps the group's history alive, often being the one to document their travels and private moments behind the scenes. In the high-tech 2026 concerts, while lasers and AI visuals swirl around him, Seungmin often stands perfectly still at the center of the stage, proving that a single, perfectly hit high note is more powerful than any special effect. He represents the human element of Stray Kids, the reminder that at the end of the day, music is about the way a voice can make you feel less alone in the dark. He is the bridge between the group's past innocence and their future as legendary vocalists. Can you hear the subtle change in his vibrato or the way he breathes between the lines of their latest hit? That is the sound of a man who has mastered his destiny. 4. Felix, the ethereal icon and the guardian of the group's global soul. In 2026, Felix has transcended the typical boundaries of a pop star to become a true cultural deity, a bridge between the physical and the digital worlds. The most jarring difference that separates Felix from everyone else in 2026 is his evolution into a global muse of the highest order. As the definitive face of Louis Vuitton and a constant fixture at the world's most exclusive gala events, his visual identity has shifted from flower boy to a high fantasy, almost otherworldly entity. With his signature freckles and silver hair, he looks less like a person and more like a character stepped out of a high-budget sci-fi epic. But the real detail, the fact that truly defines him in 2026, is the deepening resonance of his frequency. Scientifically, his voice has reached a subterranean depth that literally vibrates through the floorboards of stadiums, a sonic signature that is now used as the bedrock for Stray Kids' entire production style. Yet, the emotional reflection here is profound. Despite being the most recognized face globally, Felix remains the soft center of the group. In 2026, he is the member who has most vocally championed mental health and emotional vulnerability within the industry, often using his solo platforms to speak directly to fans about his struggles and triumphs. He has become a beacon of radical kindness, a contrast to the fierce, bass-heavy persona he adopts on stage. While he can command a crowd of 80,000 with a single growl, the 2026 Felix is also the one who sends handwritten notes to his members and spends his downtime in quiet reflection. He represents the duality of the modern idol, a visual masterpiece who remains deeply, almost painfully, grounded in his humanity. His 2026 solo stages are a blend of modern dance and performance art, focusing on the theme of the light in the dark. He is the group's empathy engine, the one who ensures that no matter how big the stage gets, the connection with the audience stays personal and raw. Can you feel the vibration when he speaks? That isn't just sound. It's the weight of a soul that has learned to carry the world's expectations with a gentle, unwavering smile. He is the miracle of Stray Kids, the one who proves that you can be both the most powerful and the most sensitive person in the room. 3. Hyunjin, the avant-garde visionary and the living canvas of emotion. As we step into the spotlight of 2026, Hyunjin has evolved far beyond the title of a visual or a main dancer. He has become a walking piece of performance art, a creator who uses his entire existence as a medium for expression. The most breathtaking difference that sets Hyunjin apart in 2026 is his total immersion into the world of fine arts and its seamless integration into the Stray Kids brand. He is no longer just performing a song. He is painting a narrative with every muscle in his body. By 2026, Hyunjin has established himself as a respected figure in the international art scene, with his private oil paintings being showcased in galleries from Seoul to Paris, often donating the proceeds to support underprivileged young artists. This artist-idol duality has changed the way he moves on stage. His dance style in 2026 has transitioned from the sharp, explosive power of his youth into a more fluid, contemporary, and almost hauntingly expressive form. He has become the visual architect of the group's live shows, often contributing to the stage design and the conceptual aesthetic of their world tours. A striking fact about Hyunjin today is his refusal to stay within the lines of idol norms. He has embraced a gender-fluid, high-fashion aesthetic as a global ambassador for Versace that challenges traditional boundaries, making him a symbol of modern liberation. Yet, the emotional depth behind this is what truly captivates. The 2026 Hyunjin is someone who has embraced his scars and past struggles, turning them into the primary fuel for his creativity. He is the group's emotional lightning rod, the one who isn't afraid to be messy, vulnerable, or overly dramatic if it means reaching a deeper truth. When you watch him during a solo performance in 2026, there is a palpable sense of controlled chaos, a man who has finally learned how to harness the storm inside him and project it onto the audience in a way that feels both overwhelming and healing. He is the bridge between the group's idol roots and their future as timeless icons of art. Have you ever seen a man dance as if his life depended on every single heartbeat? That is Hyunjin in 2026, a masterpiece that is still being painted, refusing to be finished, and constantly redefining what it means to be beautiful in a world that often demands perfection over soul. 2. Changbin, the philosophical titan and the master of sonic weight. In the landscape of 2026, Changbin has undergone a transformation that is as much intellectual as it is physical. While he has always been the dark rapper with the thunderous delivery, the Changbin of today has evolved into the group's philosophical anchor. The most massive difference that sets him apart in 2026 is his transition from a pure lyricist to a high-level creative executive and mentor within the industry. He is no longer just writing verses, he is crafting the very manifesto of the Stray Kids sound. By 2026, his physical presence has reached a legendary status. He has become a symbol of disciplined masculinity, balancing his immense strength with a newfound, serene composure. But the real detail that defines him now is his role as the guardian of identity. In an era where music trends shift every hour, Changbin is the one who ensures Stray Kids never loses its grit. He has become a sought-after producer for global artists, yet he remains fiercely loyal to the Three Racha Brotherhood, often being the one to mediate the most complex creative disputes with a calm, rational wisdom that wasn't there in his early 20s. A fascinating fact about Changbin in 2026 is his deep dive into the psychology of performance. He has become the member who most focuses on the why behind the music, ensuring every beat has a purpose. On stage, his energy has shifted from a frantic explosion to a heavy gravity. When he speaks, the stadium falls silent, not out of fear, but out of a profound respect for a man who has mastered his own internal demons. He is the member who represents the unyielding spirit of the group, the one who reminds Stay that being strong isn't about the absence of weakness, but the mastery of it. His 2026 solo work is a blend of hard-hitting boom bap and surprisingly tender, introspective tracks that explore the burden of leadership and the passage of time. He is the bridge between the raw energy of the past and the sophisticated legacy they are building for the future. Can you feel the ground shake when he takes the mic? That's not just the bass, it's the weight of a decade of conviction. He is the foundation upon which the Stray Kids empire is built, a man who has traded his angry rap for a powerful one, proving that true authority comes from knowing exactly who you are when the lights go out. 1. Bangchan, the eternal captain and the architect of a global dynasty. We have finally reached the summit, the heart of the storm, the man who quite literally built the world we are standing in today. Christopher Bang. In 2026, the difference between the Bangchan of the past and the leader we see now is nothing short of legendary. He has transitioned from the overworked protector into a global visionary, a man who has successfully steered the Stray Kids ship through nearly a decade of uncharted waters to reach the shores of immortality. The most profound shift in 2026 is his newfound sense of peaceful authority. For years, we watched Chan carry the weight of the world on his shoulders, barely sleeping, obsessing over every note in the studio. But the 2026 Bangchan has finally learned the art of trust. He has empowered his members to become leaders in their own right, and in doing so, he has unlocked a level of creative freedom that has made Stray Kids more dangerous than ever. By mid-2026, Chan has become a symbol of the modern CEO artist, balancing the intense technical demands of being the group's primary producer with a presence that is more paternal and grounded than ever before. A stunning detail about him this year is his influence on the global music industry. He is no longer just a K-pop idol, but a consultant for major international labels, helping to bridge the gap between Western pop and Eastern innovation. Yet, despite the massive fame and the high-tech 2026 studio he now operates, the most emotional fact remains. He is still the boy who promised to never let go of his members' hands. In 2026, Chan's room has evolved into a global sanctuary, a space where he continues to connect with millions of stays on a level of intimacy that feels impossible for a star of his magnitude. He is the soul of the machine, the one who ensures that even as they perform in the world's biggest arenas, the brotherhood remains the priority. On stage, he no longer feels the need to be the center of attention. Instead, he operates like a master conductor, watching his brothers shine with a look of pure, unadulterated pride. He is the bridge between the impossible dream and the concrete reality. When you look at him in 2026, you don't just see a leader. You see a man who sacrificed his youth to build a home for 7 other souls and millions of fans. He is the ultimate difference maker, the one who proved that with enough heart, you can change the world. As the lights dim on our 2026 journey, ask yourself, could anyone else have led this revolution? The answer lies in his smile, a smile of a man who finally knows that everything he fought for was worth it. And there you have it, 8 distinct souls, 8 breathtaking journeys, and one unbreakable bond that has redefined the very fabric of the global music industry in 2026. From Lino's silent strength to Bangchan's visionary leadership, we've witnessed a metamorphosis that transcends mere fame. It is the friction between these differences, the collision of Han's solitary genius with N's disciplined evolution, or Felix's ethereal kindness with Changbin's philosophical weight that creates the explosive energy known as Stray Kids. As the curtain falls on this deep dive into the lives of these 8 legends, one haunting question remains for us to ponder. In a world that constantly demands they change, how have they managed to stay so authentically true to themselves? Have they reached the ceiling of their potential, or is this 2026 era merely the prologue to an even grander dynasty? One thing is certain, they didn't just survive the cutthroat world of music, they conquered it by embracing every scar, every difference, and every individual dream. Thank you for joining us on this emotional and high-octane journey through the hearts of the kings. Whether you've been here since the beginning or just joined the movement, remember that the story of Stray Kids is a reminder that being stray isn't about being lost. It's about finding the courage to walk your own path. Which transformation shocked you the most, and where do you think their journey will take them next? Stay curious, stay passionate, and as always, step out. See you in the next chapter of musical history.